In the Indian Ocean, about 500 miles east of Madagascar, lies Mauritius, a volcanic island born from the depths of the sea some 8 million years ago. An island that once harbored one of nature's most enigmatic creatures, the dodo, a bird that would later capture the world's imagination. Remaining isolated for most of its existence, it wasn't till the Dutch claimed Mauritius in 1598 that the island saw any real action, and in true fashion, man couldn't just leave it alone. It soon became a regular stop for the Dutch East India Trading Company as it offered a bounty of fresh water and other needed provisions. Upon first landing on the island, these sailors were met by the de facto welcoming party, a large, flightless, awkward-looking bird with a hooked beak and large, bulbous eyes. For these newcomers, it was something out of their rum-induced dreams alongside mermaids and minotaurs. The feathered enigma was seen as a chubby, dim-witted bird, essentially the couch potato of the avian world. Ever heard the expression dumb as a dodo? Yeah, that's on us. Sorry, Dodo. Standing about 3 feet tall and weighing up to 50 pounds, the dodo was no small bird. Its body was covered in soft, grayish feathers, its feet yellow, its head bare, and its beak reportedly even green. As its food sources primarily consisted of fallen fruit and nuts, which were plentiful on the island, they evolved into flightless creatures. If it was thought to be overweight and clumsy, it was only a product of its environment, and as long as its environment remained unchanged, it was a well-adapted creature. But with the arrival of these mariners, the stage for a tragic chain of events was set. The dodo's world would inevitably change forever. Word had gotten back to Europe about these evolutionary wonders, and soon they became a bit of a novelty. Loaded on ships, these birds were transported back to Europe by the thousands and soon became a cash cow for the company. Sporting dodo feathered hats and full plumage gowns were all the rage with both the common folk and aristocrats alike. And the bird's overly friendly character won over children. Turns out they made great house pets as well. It's even rumored that a dodo was granted lordship by the King of France. Well, all right, none of this really happened. But what did happen was just as dramatic. At first, the dodo showed no fear of humans. Having no natural predators, they had no distrust of the island's new visitors. So they became an easy meal for these hungry sailors. It was as if they just arrived at an all-you-can-eat dodo buffet. But this was just the beginning of the dodo's troubles. Rats and other pests that had stowed away on the ships soon took refuge on shore and quickly spread across the island. Pigs brought over for food and pets like monkeys escaped captivity, becoming feral predators once in the wild. They wreaked havoc on the island's delicate ecosystem, and the dodo was in no way spared from this devastation. Unfortunately, the only thing swift about the dodo was its extinction. The species' numbers dwindled rapidly, and by 1680, the bird was almost certainly extinct. The last confirmed sighting of a living dodo was in 1662, just 64 years after Westerners first arrived on Mauritius. We set a record for that one, I'm sure. Long after it was gone, the dodo remained misunderstood and often ridiculed. It was assumed that it went extinct merely because it was a foolish bird to begin with, Mother Nature's practical joke. It even fell into the realm of myth, as some doubted its existence in the first place. But more recent scientific discoveries have painted a very different picture. A wealth of well-preserved dodo remains have been found on the island, and these discoveries have allowed scientists to reconstruct the dodo's anatomy with unprecedented accuracy. We now know that dodos were likely much slimmer and more agile than previously thought. They were probably as intelligent as modern pigeons, to which they were closely related. That's not to say the dodo is winning any bird Mensa competitions, but it's something. It was, in fact, a highly specialized island dweller, far from being an evolutionary dead end. And from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland to modern-day memes, the dodo continues to capture our imagination. Today, Mauritius is home to some of the most intensive conservation efforts in the world. The tragic tale of the dodo has made this island nation much more aware of the fragility of its natural environment. Projects are underway to protect the distant relatives of the dodo that still inhabit the island to this day. Although the dodo is long gone, its tale is still with us, but it's a tale of caution, not that of extinction. There are those of us who realize man's true place on this planet, that we're part of the delicate equilibrium of all life, and therefore have a responsibility to not, for lack of a better term, screw things up. But there are still those who feel the need to exploit its resources solely for their own gain. And ultimately, if this is allowed to continue unchecked, it's only a matter of time before man does indeed go the way of the dodo.